Catch you guys. We ready?
Yep.
Good to see you. Okay. Good evening. The February 26, 2018 agenda meeting of the Milltown Borough Council will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Present.
Councilman Farkas?
Here.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Present.
Councilman Legati?
Here.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Here.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Here.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 present.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read the meeting statement?
Let the minutes reflect that adequate notice of the holding of this regular business meeting of the Borough Council was provided by the adoption of a resolution and the posting, filing, and forwarding of a copy of the same to the official Borough newspapers, Home News Tribune, and Star Ledger Publishing Companies on February 20th, 2018. Public participation in this meeting will be permitted during public hearings and after the agenda of scheduled matters has been completed.
Thank you. Please rise for a moment of silence, followed by a salute to our nation's flag.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Items for discussion this evening, miscellaneous engineering items. Mr. McClellan.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just a few items tonight. First on the list, we're pleased to announce that the borough was awarded a $200,000 grant from the NJDOT for the Wilson Avenue and Howard Street improvements. You may remember we discussed this at your last meeting, and we're pleased to find out that this is a new award. This is a project that, as you know, has several phases, and this is one additional shot in the arm that the borough got with this project. We are in design based upon the authorization at your last meeting, and we are attempting to get the project underway as soon as possible. So we'll keep you apprised of the progress of the project, get you progress plans, and meet with your folks at the Public Works. Second is the bids for the Public Works building are going to be received tomorrow. We will report back at your next meeting with results and a recommendation, hopefully, of a contractor. Third, we have tax maps. They continue to be reviewed by your tax assessor. We'll keep you posted on how that progress is going. As I said, there's about 400 plus or minus irregularities with the county's database, and one by one we're checking through them. And that's all we have for you tonight.
Any questions for the engineer?
The 200,000, is that for phase 2 or phase 3?
I believe it's phase 3.
For phase 3.
That's right. Okay. And what happens with these grants is that there's a deadline that you have to move and award a contract on. Years and years ago when the program just started, it started in 1984, and they would allow you to consolidate funds and then move them forward. Unfortunately, because of various municipalities that may not have used them in time, they sort of prevent us from doing that. We are trying to work with them about an extension, because ideally this project would be very nice to do all at one time, economies of scale and those types of things. And you may remember that this is a drainage problem where we're trying to drain the end of Wilson Avenue in an effort to eliminate that ice problem at the bottom. In order to correct that, we have to put a storm sewer down on Janet Court and run it all the way up Janet and then go up through the hill. So to the extent we can get it all done at one time would be ideal. If it turns out that we can't, it may be that the pipe work gets done and then the hill will be done at a separate phase, but with the road. But we're trying to get as much of it done as we can. And the reason is, as I said, economies of scale, but the DOT will, we don't want to forfeit the first grant. That's basically what the concern is. So we'll keep you posted on that. Our survey is done already. The design has begun. I spoke to our people today, so we're moving as along as fast as we can. Okay?
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, same topic. How much of the project do you anticipate this $200,000 grant would cover?
Rich, this covers pretty much the road portion of Wilson.
And we have funds for the rest already in place?
You do. Okay. Plus you have a bond ordinance, which is typical of any NJDOT project, that you basically bond for it and use the DOT funds to reimburse. This is precisely what we wanted to have happen. We don't always see this happen this way, but it's precisely what the borough wanted to have happen. Get as much of DOT funding as we could, and it came in right at the right time.
Well, the reason I ask is because the looking through the paper today, we saw Middlesex Borough got $1 million, and other municipalities got a lot more money, and I'm just wondering, did we ask for enough?
Well, we had multiple projects, and this is the only one we had multiple projects in. We did not receive that. The dispersion of the dollars is cyclical. Okay, in other words, I don't know what Middlesex Borough got in the last 4 or 5 years. So that I'm not so sure that Milltown's getting shortchanged. But what they basically disperse is really among a program where they rate the projects. It depends on what the ratings are. Your project is at several phases. When you look at what you got for that, you didn't do too badly in that one.
Well, Middlesex Borough, they're replacing the Raritan Avenue Bridge that goes on Raritan Avenue where it butts up to Route 28.
Okay.
So that's probably why they got a sizable chunk.
It's a very different kind of project when you have a bridge, which is probably an orphan bridge, I would guess. Orphan bridge is a bridge where there's no real ownership. The state at times will come in on this program and fund that, so that may be the irregularity there. But let me tell you, as I said last month, the allotments are coming higher, so we've seen that too. And there's supposed to be another round of grant requests also, so that I think we should try to go as much as we want. Let's see. But you did have multiple submittals of them. You had two roads,
Okay.
2 sections.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, Denise, do we have any bonded money from previous years, like 2014, 15, that bonded funding for roadways that still could go towards some
We
of
still
the...
have the money that was put in place in 2014 in order to do milling and paving with the county.
Oh, okay.
I believe we're going to resume that. Last year something happened, there was a glitch in the system, but as far as I know, after speaking with Ralph Jasnowski, I believe that's going to occur this year. I'm not sure, I think we might be doing Washington Avenue, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay, thank you.
No, but how does it apply to that? Do we have anything to apply to that project?
No, it's a separate bond, we have a separate bond ordinance in place for that project, which is $200,000 will go against that bond ordinance.
Oh, okay.
Anyone else?
I mean, just for completeness, so everyone knows, actually from the county, the project is for 3 roads.
Oh, okay, wonderful, thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close items for discussion. Audience comments. Audience has any comments, please remember that comments are for things discussed at the agenda meeting at this point in time only. With that, I will open audience comments. Please state your name and address for the record, center line of the room. Seeing none, I will close audience comments and accept a motion for adjournment.
So be it.
Second?
I have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Let's take a quick 5-minute adjournment, and we'll get back for the regular meeting.
One more time.
Ready? You all ready? Good evening. The February 26, 2018 meeting of the Milltown Borough Council will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Present.
Councilman Farkas?
Here.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Present.
Councilman Legati?
Here.
Councilwoman Mayer? Here. Councilman Revelinsky?
At your service.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 present.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read the meeting statement?
Let the minutes reflect that adequate notice of the holding of this regular business meeting of the Borough Council was provided by the adoption of a resolution and the posting, filing, and forwarding of a copy of the same to the official borough newspapers, Home News Tribune, and Star Ledger Publishing Companies on February 20th, 2018. Public participation in this meeting will be permitted during public hearings and after the agenda of scheduled matters has been completed.
Thank you. Please rise for a moment of silent prayer, followed by a salute to our nation's flag. Thank you. Please be seated. This evening, we have on the agenda a public hearing scheduled for ordinance number 18-1454. The ordinance has been published according to law. Copies have been made available to the public prior to this evening's meeting. I would ask anyone wishing to speak in favor or against the ordinance, when recognized, please clearly state your name and address for the record. Will the clerk please read ordinance number 18-1454 by title?
Mr. Mayor, according to the agenda, this is actually an ordinance that needs to be tabled. There were notification issues, so it would be, we would not be able to have any discussion or take any public hearing on this matter tonight.
Very good. Do we need a motion to table?
No, it's not, well, I suppose you can do it that way since it is listed on the agenda.
Motion to table.
Second.
That'll be tabled to the next meeting, correct?
The 12th.
Right,
Next council.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Councilman Legati.
No.
No?
That was me.
Oh,
You picked the one that didn't.
I heard your voice.
Somebody down that way.
I'll try this again.
Councilwoman Mayor.
There you go.
That is the motion to table. Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayor?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes to table.
So moved. Okay, next on the agenda, we have comments and questions on resolutions and bills and claims. Listed on the agenda, if you have any comments or questions, please use the microphone in the center of the room. Give your name and address for the record when recognized. Remember, comments and questions are limited to the resolutions and bills or claims listed on the agenda. With that, I will open audience comments. Seeing none, I will close that portion. And now we have reports of standing committees and introduction of resolutions. Being that there is not a consent resolution prepared for this evening's agenda, will the clerk please read resolution number 18-077 by title?
Authorization to execute an agreement with Middlesex County for assignment of an officer to a county task force.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
Move that this resolution be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion by Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilman Legati, that the ordinance is adopted. Is there any discussion?
Yes, just a quick question. On the paragraph that says, "Be it further resolved," is that correct to say the Director of Public Works there?
No, that should say Chief of Police, sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Should be the Chief of Police, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I didn't catch that. I didn't read all.
Any other discussion?
Ralph probably would have liked it.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayor?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Will the clerk please read resolution 18-078 by title only?
A resolution of the Borough Council of the Borough of Milltown establishing fees for pet shops, kennels, shelters, and pounds.
Okay, you've heard the reading of this resolution. What is your pleasure?
I move that this resolution be adopted.
I second.
I have a motion by Councilman Revelinsky, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that the resolution is adopted. Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayor?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. Okay, next we move to the report of the Department of Finance, Administration, and Planning, chaired by Council President Ronald Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Short report tonight. We met prior to this evening's meeting. We're in the process of putting the 2018 budget together. We have meetings scheduled again for next week, and we hope to get an early budget before the whole council for a vote. That's my report.
Thank you. Next we will hear from the Department of Public Safety, chaired by Councilman Nicholas Legati.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No report tonight, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next we will hear from the Department of Utilities, chaired by Councilman Richard Revelinsky.
Nothing new to report tonight, but please check with the new Nixle program to make sure you're up to date and registered to receive the alerts for utility information.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you. Next we will hear from the Department of Public Works and Recycling, chaired by Councilwoman Dorianne Kerber.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do not have a report this evening for the Department of Public Works and Recycling. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Department of Environmental, Health, and Social Services, chaired by Councilwoman Trina Mayer.
I do not have a report. We will be meeting this Wednesday evening, but I did want to give you an update, Mayor. We were talking about the marijuana, and I have gotten input from the chief of police, the school board. Actually, I spoke to the superintendent last week, and she will be putting it in front of the school board this evening. We have a letter from the seniors, and there's a seminar coming up, and so I will bring it before the Environmental Commission to get their input and have a fuller report at the next meeting.
Great, thank you. Okay, next we will hear from the Department of Recreation, chaired by Councilman Randy Farkas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No rec report tonight, but I'm happy to report that after meetings with the county, freeholders, and the Director of Government and Public Affairs, I'm pleased to announce that the county has entered into an interlocal agreement with Milltown for the milling and paving of Washington Avenue, West Foch Avenue, and Cleveland Avenue. The agreement will allow the borough to get 3 roads milled and paved at a favorable cost to the residents. As always, we thank the county for working with us and saving dollars for our taxpayers. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is old business. Do we have any old business to come before the council this evening? Seeing none, I will close old business. Next on the agenda is new business. Is there any new business to come before the council this evening? Okay. I have a little.
Okay.
Hope you know, it's about a 15-page report. I'm going to read it real slow so you get to hear every word.
You're going to be hurt.
No, this is I received a letter from the Milltown seniors that I'd like to share with the council and anybody who wishes to hear. Dear Mayor Stever and Borough Council, at a recent executive board meeting of the Milltown Seniors Club, the issue of the need for a new senior bus was raised. It was noted that this has been discussed for several years now with no results. Please be aware that our current bus is many years old and has served the Milltown seniors well, but is showing its age with mechanical problems as well as the lack of safe, comfortable seats. We ask this council to prevent this aging process from becoming a real safety situation. For many Milltown seniors, the bus is the lifeline to survival. We cannot let them down. We are aware that funding is available, but it must be applied for. That, plus the current state of the marketplace, should put us in a relatively good place to obtain the necessary money. Thank you for your attention to this request. We look forward to discussing this further as soon as possible. Sincerely yours, and it's signed by members of the president and senior council liaison from the senior club. So with that, I believe Councilwoman Kerber, are you the liaison?
Yes,
to the seniors?
I'm meeting with them next Monday,
I'm going to
March
give you
5th.
this, and perhaps you can work with Ms. Biancamano, and we can look into the situation.
Absolutely.
I don't know the extent of the situation with the truck, so if we can get some information on that
Certainly,
and
Mr. Mayor.
the council. I
Mayor,
appreciate
if I
that.
could ask, could
Yes,
you
sir.
also keep me advised of that with finance?
Absolutely.
Because that would have to go into the new budget.
Absolutely.
All right.
Denise,
Was that part of what she requested in her department budget?
Denise, can you
No.
use any of the HUD money for a new bus?
No.
I don't know if it's all allocated
But,
already.
No, but we do have CDBG dollars that I can ask to be reallocated, as opposed to maybe not putting, I know we discussed, I think we had a public hearing at the last meeting about putting windows in the senior building, that and different senior improvements. I can reach out to Paul Buckley, who heads that,
Right.
and ask him if any, if not all of that money that we do have for improvements and various things can be used towards a bus.
I think that's.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea to go
Okay.
to him and ask for
I will.
to reallocate some of that HUD money to what we want. You know,
I will definitely.
it'll help Ron out too.
That would, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Dorian, just make sure you keep Nick in the loop, too.
Absolutely.
All right.
I'll keep everybody in the loop.
All right. Any other new business? Seeing none, we'll move on. Audience comments. If anyone in the audience has anything they wish to say, please state your name and address or however you work that out. For the record, with that, I will let you go ahead and speak.
My name is Leo Wagner. I'm a Boy Scout from Troop 33. and I'm here to discuss the new LED street lights that are being installed. They've caused numerous problems, and many citizens have been annoyed by them. One reason is that it ruins night vision. Whenever you take out your telescope, if you're an astronomer, you can't see that much because of the intense blue light produced by the LEDs. It also causes lots of light pollution, making stargazing and stuff like nearly impossible. And also, on a more serious note, citizens I've talked to say that the light from the LEDs hurts their eyes, and that can be really dangerous at night because the drivers are at risk of crashing their cars. Another reason that these LED lights are bad are illustrated in a Harvard study that shows that bright blue lights, such as the ones produced by the new LED street lights, can make it a lot harder for people to sleep. This can lead to numerous health problems. A solution to these problems would be using dimmer LED lights, not the really bright ones. That could potentially save even more money than the regular LEDs. I hope you will take my advice. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you very much. Perhaps if you stay around for the end of the meeting, Councilman Revelinsky can have a few words with you and maybe get some information from you.
He gave you right up.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, I will close council audience comments. Council comments. Anyone from the council have anything they wish to add?
I do, Mr. Mayor. Two things. When I was talking to the superintendent about the marijuana issue, the school safety issue came up because it was right after the Florida school shooting. And the Board of Ed has been working with a contractor for several years on school safety, and they've installed new locks and drills. But she just asked me to reach out to the council because they've been getting a lot of calls, questions about what other steps are going to be done, and she wanted to get the council comments on what, if it involved the police or anything like that. So I just wanted to put it out there to see if anybody has any input, or if we want to give it to Dorianne so she can bring it back to the Board of Ed, because she's the liaison, right, Dorianne?
Yes,
to, about what the town's comfort level is with the amount of security that is in school, or do we need more, less? Do we have any opinion on that?
Yeah, I guess my suggestion would be is if Dorian could reach out to the police chief and our OEM director to have a discussion, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.
We have to be careful, Ron.
If I may, Mr. Mayor, I think the worst thing we can do is discuss what procedures that the police department is doing. That's like giving the combination to the safe over the air to the bank.
No.
It's not the right thing to do, and the chief knows that, and the chief is handling it.
He works
I think
closely
he's
with
handling it very well. He
Yes.
has been meeting with Dr. Brown. I know that.
Yes.
And Dr. Brown and him have worked out a lot of things, and I think it should stay between him and Dr. Brown what they've worked out.
There are numerous things, like
Yeah.
whatever the safety plan is for the school, we will not be told. They will take care of that through.
No, but just
through their
as
thing.
if there needed to be some extra, help from the
Right.
police department or town, it would affect us,
Correct.
budget-wise.
Yes,
That was sort of the,
absolutely. I knew where you were going with
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's why I said that's the best way to handle it is to
Yeah,
Dorian,
exactly.
get that out there, and then
Exactly.
anything she can share with us, she certainly will.
And then the other thing I wanted to bring up was I met with Pastor Josh from the United Methodist Church. He sent us all an email saying that his congregation would like to do a day of service in May, and he asked for our input as to what the projects would be. I believe he reached out and asked us all to get back and give our opinions. And as far as I know, on Thursday, I was the only one that spoke to him. So I told him that I would bring it back to the council and see if we could come up with 3 or 4 ideas for a day of service what needs to be cleaned up, what needs to be worked on, something that they could come up with a plan to benefit the community.
Sounds great.
So,
I sent him an email, too, and
Okay.
I gave a couple ideas, just,
okay. Because I know Dorianne had mentioned something, so I think if we could maybe, by the next meeting, come up with, 3 or 4 projects that might need some work, and then we can get back to him, because, they're willing to do that, or maybe even get together with other congregations, which might be nice if we had an annual day of service or a community cleanup or something like that. So we want to take advantage of the community members reaching out to help.
Sounds great. Right, so I guess anybody with some ideas, get them back to Councilwoman Mayer.
Right.
Sounds great. Any other council comments? Seeing none.
I'd actually just like to say hats off to Councilman Farkas over here for getting that grant from the county for those roads. Just curious if there's any other roads besides Washington Avenue. You said earlier during the agenda meeting that you have monies earmarked for 3. Just curious as to what 3 those are. I'm hoping it's Renault, Tracy Drive.
no.
Does it have to be county roads?
No, but they're I believe they're the 3 roads that the Director of Public Works has listed as the worst roads in the town. So it's Washington Avenue, West Foch Avenue, and Cleveland Avenue. Those are the 3 roads that are on the schedule.
Is West Foch concrete underneath, Mike?
I don't think so. Any other council comments? Seeing none. Mayor's comments? None. I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
So be it.
Second.
I have a motion from Council President Dixon, seconded by Councilwoman Kerber, that we adjourn. Is there any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Council President Dixon?
Aye.
Councilman Farkas?
Aye.
Councilwoman Kerber?
Aye.
Councilman Legati?
Aye.
Councilwoman Mayer?
Aye.
Councilman Revelinsky?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, we have 6 ayes.
So moved. We are now adjourned. Have a good evening.
Thank you.